Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Lady League. Happy day after Halloween, everybody. Last night for Halloween, Allie dressed up as a Bears fan. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh my God, take it off.
Stop.
And the Bears dressed up as the Vikings, and the Vikings dressed up as the Bears. What an unexpected outcome on Monday night. We will definitely get into that later. I'm RZ, as you guys know, and as always, I'm here with Allie and Dr. Z. So let's get into it with the first whistle. And I'm just going to dominate the opening because I'm going to kick us off with the first whistle. 3 overtimes on Sunday? What? Cowboys beat the Eagles in OT. The Raiders stunned the Bucs in a bizarro game and overtime win. And then, more missed field goals and another tie? First time with back-to-back ties and ever. And then the first time since 97 that we had 2 in one season. I mean, the Redskins and the Bengals just basically shook hands and went home, both ending the game at Wembley with 27 points. And at least soccer fans in London, they know and accept and a draw better than we do. So cheerio, old chaps.
Old chaps.
That was a long one. All right. I've stopped timing, and therefore we're going off the rails. All right, Dr. Z, what's your first whistle?
Well, I was just going to say they definitely finally got their money's worth in London with a competitive game. So I was happy for them about that. They didn't get, the dregs of the NFL this time. So that was nice. And whoops, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so it was a really rough weekend in Chicago. I found out that being a Cubs fan is very stressful. It's really not that fun. Anyways, thank God we got a win on Sunday night to save us from complete disaster, because if the Cubs didn't win a game in Wrigley Field in the World Series, I mean, no matter the outcome of the series, that would have been terrible.
I have to interrupt. It's so weird hearing you say we.
Yeah.
About the Cubs.
No we here.
RZ, you may be surprised to hear this, but great grandpa Zach.
Of course. He meant me and Zach.
Okay. And even our father was a diehard Cubs fan until the playoff run of the 60s, where he claims they broke his heart, and it has taken him 50 years, 50 years to get over it. So we have more history with the Cubs than any other baseball team. However, it will never take my Packers away from me, so don't get too worried.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I'm not done. So my
sorry, I interrupted.
I took pictures of a goat. I learned to sing the Go Cubs Go song. We bought a program so we could have evidence for the fabrication that we will no doubt tell of this magical weekend one day.
Wow.
And finally, I wore this lucky scarf on Sunday, and this had a huge part in why the Cubs won. And so that's why I'm wearing it.
Dazzled.
Right now. It's ugly, but it's very lucky. I'm wearing it right now. I put it on exactly 7:08, and the Cubs are up 3-0.
Boo!
Okay, Allie. Okay. All right, our Dr. Z, are you done? You good?
That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Allie, the White Sox fan.
I'm going to talk about the Monday night football game.
Have to.
In my Bears. Well, it only made sense for me to dress up as a Bears fan because we Packer fans did really need a Bears win and a Vikings loss. And my baby Alshon Jeffrey, Alshon will come out tomorrow. That was what I was singing the whole game. What a pleasure to watch that game. Okay, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but as you all know, my Bears fan husband / Jay Cutler apologist actually guaranteed me last weekend that the Bears would win. He was like, don't worry about it. Yeah, he's like, guaranteed the Bears will win. And this fan who desperately needed a loss from Minnesota and more desperately needed points from fantasy players, Jay Cutler looked like a smoking hero last night. And he was smiling.
Okay. You guys.
Hold on. The Cubs just got a grand slam in the World Series, and we're up 7-0.
Okay, this is the most. This is the most Chicago heavy Lady League episode I've ever been a part of. But
We will not do this again. We promise.
we have to give credit where credit is due. Allie, are you done? The Grand Slam interrupted you.
So sorry.
Yes. Wait, oh God.
They just got a Grand Slam while you were talking.
About
I
Cutler.
wish I was dead. I wish I was dead. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the Grand Slam part, and now I want to weep. Let's talk about football.
Okay, let's get back to football. Just piggybacking, obviously, Jordan Howard tore it up on Monday night. So, yeah, we'll see about him. And against the defense that a lot of people thought was
the best
very, very
ever.
good. Bizarro world. Nobody really saw that coming. Anyway, so it's time for Mopes and Glopes.
Greg
It is the Lady League matchup of the week. Again, I am a part of the Lady League matchup of the
Me
week.
too.
Again, I want to skip this segment. Yay. No, I'm gonna start with the smooth move that I had early last week. I snagged Dak as my backup to Brady, my Dak up, if you will.
Nice.
Yes, right. Because if he's still the man in Dallas, which he should be, then I've got him against the Browns while Brady's on bye. Okay. That said, I'm gloating because my players have finally stopped putting up like zeros and ones and twos, and I blew out my competition in my one league with Carr and his record day, Jay Stu going lights out, and Dez, you were worth the wait, sir. So now, to the moping, which is really, this has all just been, me just trying to put off this point. But, oh, gosh. So Allie and I were in the Lady League matchup in the week, and it really was a very tight game, and it all came down to Monday night. I had the Vikings defense, and Allie, as we all know, was, her freak out candidate for, basically the whole season, Alshon Jeffrey, and then Zach Miller. So she was sweating, I feel like, I was like, I got the Vikings D. I would think I was down by 10. And she probably wasn't feeling that good about leaving your little baby, Tyler Eifert, on the bench.
I cannot believe you did that. I cannot believe it. I was thinking about you, like, when he was scoring touchdowns. And I thought, Ellie must be so happy.
No, she left him on the bench. And then she also, and mind you, this is what the London games are tough with that early time. But she also left in Matt Jones.
I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, who was out. But anyways, and she was out of town. Okay, we'll give her that. But anyways, the fact that she still pulled it out makes me so mad.
That's terrible.
I knew it would happen.
Oh, God. And I don't even know, I don't know. So I'm done. I'm mainly, I don't know, moping.
Well, I am gloating from head to toe, although I should not be. I don't deserve it.
Yeah, you don't deserve it.
I don't deserve it. Here's what happened. I was manically checking my lineup this week because I was very excited for this matchup. But I got on a plane to Chicago Thursday night for a Midwest wedding, and I failed to see Matt Jones just slide off the active roster. I was distracted by, I will say, Wisconsin drinking and the Chicago Cubs games. I watched the Cub game like every night. So I was on the sports brain, but I awoke Sunday morning to do my lineups, realized I was in the London game, and I was like, no! I saw this big pair of zeros for Matt Jones. It was a really sad moment for me as a fantasy expert. And I benched my little baby Eifert, literally the only person I ever talk about on this. Everyone's like, why are you talking about Eifert? Why are you talking about? Well, here's the thing. I was being conservative. I didn't forget about him. I thought that he needed to have like a full start before I unleashed him. I think I didn't realize that he had gotten a few snaps in the last game.
Yeah.
I was being very conservative. But I do have to say, like RZ talks about, I did not take my own fantasy advice. So that's fine. But my faithful horses pulled through. Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Miller finally put up points. Aaron Rodgers had the best fantasy game of the year. And I did just enough to win both of my leagues. So sorry, RZ. Was not my proudest win, but it was a win.
Yep, a win's a win's a win. And a loss is a loss is a loss. I'm basically the Jaguars. I don't know.
I know Eifert is on a bye this week.
So
I can't
use him again.
I can't get him.
It is the one like sweet sweet revenge that I have, or the
Yes.
sweet justice of the world.
Justice.
All right, Dr. Z, are you moping? Are you gloating? Talk to us.
Well, first of all, Allie, I hope that you don't have more than 2 tight ends on your team currently.
Not on that team, I don't.
Okay. Well, okay. I don't even want to ask about the other team. All right. So to start
Yeah,
out with, no.
It's great. I will say it is a great defense because the other people in the league who need a tight end can't get them because I have 3 good ones.
You are a tight end hoarder. We had a
Yes.
guy like this in Luke's league. We had 4 tight ends at one point, and we made fun of him. We made fun of him every week. Okay, so I want to start out by moping. I guess I kind of forgot who I was dealing with. I saw Doc there on the waiver wire, and I didn't even think to do a waiver on him. I just was going to wake up early Saturday morning and pick him up, and then I was looking, and I realized he just wasn't there, and I thought to myself, Clayboy bunnies. I knew it. I knew it was you, and it was you, RZ. So I am moping about that because Derek Carr's going to be on a bye week 10, and I realized the guy I had has the same bye, so I needed Doc, and
Give me my one gloat. Give me my one gloat.
Instead, I had to settle for Alex Smith, who promptly got concussed or
Yes.
something. So, that didn't work out for me. I wasn't playing him, but, it just doesn't feel good to have that happen. And then I guess my number one gloat is in the Lady League, Derek Carr, whopping, 500
Yes.
something
And
yards?
13 yards.
513 yards and
Yeah,
4
overtime.
touchdowns. That is a lot of points,
Mhm.
fantasy points. Considering I lost Ware to a possible concussion, I really needed somebody to come through like that. By the way, West is a very intriguing ad if Ware can't go in week 8 or week 9. And this information just came in this afternoon that the Chiefs place Charles on injured reserve. So his season is done and it's time to drop him. So that is really sad. And I don't know with his age and everything and the problems with that knee, who knows if he'll play again in the NFL. So I hope we haven't seen the last of him, but at a certain point, their bodies just can't hold up. So
Right.
that's a rough one. The second thing I did, which I want to gloat about, is playing Fyodorovich.
That's
like that.
That is the Polish way to say his name. And because I've been studying Polish so long, I can no longer say it the American way. So
No.
I mean, I would say Fedorovitz.
Fyodorovich.
It sounds like an American tale up in here.
Yeah. So anyways, I picked him up of the Houston Texans. He was playing against the Lions, who are absolutely terrible against tight ends. And I guess the coach got the playbook because he kept peppering him with targets. He caught 5 of 7 targets for 43 yards and a touchdown. And although I would consider him, potentially a flash in the pan, I looked at his targets. He's been getting around 6 or 7 targets and 5 catches across the past 4 weeks. Now that is pretty much as good as it gets for a tight end who's not Gronk or Eifert or one of the big names. So maybe he can remain a starter for me. My luck hasn't been good with tight ends so far, but
especially with 6 teams on bye, including Gronk.
Yeah.
So I'll probably roll with him another week.
He's on bye too. He's a Texan.
Oh no,
He's on bye this week, but that's okay if you have room to stash him.
Exactly.
Stash them.
Stash them.
But
Take it from me.
The real drama for me happened midway through the first early games when I found out that Montgomery, who I thought, illness, he probably just has a cold, like he's definitely going to play. And even, all the fantasy analysts in the morning, nobody mentioned him sitting. So it was a surprise sit for Montgomery. And, all my other cooks, like everyone else was already playing on my team. So I actually had to drop someone I didn't want to drop. And there was nobody left. It was between Meredith, who I didn't want to risk, not knowing what was going to happen with Cutler and the Bears, or Jeff Janis, which is like a wing and a prayer. But miraculously, he actually scored me a touchdown and got me 9 points. And man, phew, is all I can say. So
much more than that.
No, you can't. And the Lady League is very tough this year. I've been on a 2-game winning streak. I just finally moved up to 3rd place. So, the winners are continuing to win in the top quarter of this league. So it's very tough. I know she's 2 games up on everyone.
You guys, I should have never let her back in the league. She's a winner. She played D1 tennis. Like, the girl just knows how to win. She doesn't know how not to win. She makes me crazy.
Yes.
Anyways, let's get into a quick fantasy recap of week 8. I'll start us off with, okay, you guys, those dang Raiders just keep shooting themselves in the foot over and over with these penalties. They still managed to put it away in OT despite 23 penalties, which is an NFL record for most in history. Next in line is the Brooklyn Tigers. Who are they?
Who
they don't exist anymore. They haven't existed for a while. Holy
cool
moly.
Name though.
Yeah. Anyways, Amari Cooper led wide receivers in scoring with 25 fantasy points on his 12 catches for 161 yards in the second half. But he did. But the Raiders have the stingy Denver defense up next, so I don't know. I don't expect the same production from Coop next week. But he's definitely still in the wide receiver 2 mix with so many teams on bye. And also a tough matchup coming up for the star of the show on Sunday, as Dr. Z already mentioned, Derek Carr, who led the fantasy scoreboard, as she said, threw for 40 of 59 for 513 yards, 4 TDs. Wowza. Speaking of QBs, in an ugly performance that turned out okay for fantasy purposes, Blake Bortles put up 29 fantasy points, proof that real-life QBs aren't always the best fantasy QBs and vice versa.
Correct.
But I'm not expecting these kind of numbers from Blake going forward, although the Jags did fire their offensive coordinator after their pitiful 2-5 start, which, as I was saying, my team, my Lady League team, Clayboy Bunnies, is basically like the Jaguars. And so maybe my team should fire me. Anyways, we'll see if the coaching shakeup will help owners of Blake and the Allens or any Jag at all. Allie?
Quick note on Bortles. He actually played terribly in that game. He kept throwing wobblers. Allen Robinson he threw an absolute hissy fit at one point. And really, Bortles got 2 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the game, one of them in the final seconds.
Yeah.
And I had finally benched him in my 2-quarterback league, and it made me want to die. That's all I got.
The equivalent of garbage time, and yeah, it was abysmal performance. But fantasy-wise, okay, we'll take it. All right, Allie, what you got?
So although I am no Cubs fan, baseball was my first love. Was my first love as a sport. And I was very proud of baseball's ratings. Sunday night, they beat out the Sunday Night Football Eagles-Cowboys game. So I was very proud for baseball for drawing those numbers, even if it was for, like, the Cubs.
Chicago alone probably put the numbers up.
But it was a very impressive win for the Cowboys, even more impressive for Dak Prescott owners, as you know. And I think he's here to stay. So what I was more excited about, obviously, was predictions that the Falcons-Packers game would be this fantasy barn burner were pretty correct, except for Julio Jones, who had a pretty quiet week.
Julio!
Oh, my God, I did that again.
You done it again.
It's Julio Jones.
Let's go. Julio Jones.
Fedorovich.
It's okay. I don't know if he tweaked his ankle or something happened in that game, but he was not.
Or the Packers banged up secondary actually came through.
Possibly, it's an option. But Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman all had very good fantasy weeks. I thought the Packers had a more encouraging loss than some of the recent wins this year.
Yep.
Only the last-minute defensive collapse by the Packers and Matty Ice being one drive cooler than Aaron Rodgers kept it being the week of the Aaron Rodgers is back narrative. It was so close. Do you girls feel good about that loss?
Yeah, honestly, I tweeted it, and I great game, shit ending, #Go Pack Go. That was my tweet.
I thought we did great considering all the players that were injured. I know we didn't have Cobb, we didn't have Montgomery, we didn't have Clay Matthews.
On both sides of the ball, yeah. It's like the Packers were pretty decimated by injury. So I agree. I thought I liked the way the offense was running, and
but the
it is kind of like how I think we play up to good teams and play down to bad teams.
I hate that about us.
Yes.
So the last, also going along with the Packers was Sadly, fantasy owners hoping for a magical pickup in Niall Davis to save their season would be depressed to hear that he was cut by Green Bay yesterday. So sorry.
I picked him up, and then I don't know if you ladies saw, but I dropped him. I dropped him without picking anyone else up. I was so angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Devontae Adams. I was like, if I'm going Packer, I'm going Adams on that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't burn a waiver on him, but I just picked him up.
Yes. Good job.
My only other storyline is, Cam Newton decided to dress up as Walt Disney's Peter Pan to complain about not getting enough calls or not feeling safe. Or, I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously with the feathers in your hat. Please, it has nothing to do with you as a human being or as a football player. Nothing but respect. But by God, I was like, I can't even look at the screen right now. Let's try again next week.
Okay. Allie's giving Cam fashion advice. Dr. Z, what do you got from week 8?
All right, well, I want to talk a little bit about the Chiefs. They just keep climbing up the NFL power rankings with their latest victory over the Colts, whose offense is apparently just not that good. Alex Smith went down in this game. He returned. He had concussion-like symptoms. He returned only to do this kamikaze slide, which led to him being knocked out of the game for good. Even so, Kansas City defense really dominated this game with 6 sacks and 2 turnovers. Speaking of defenses, Denver defense also had a big day in their win against the Chargers, except they gave up over 100 rushing yards to a running back for the first time in 22 games. And you know the name of that running back?
Oh, well, we do. If anyone listens to the show, they do.
Melvin Bo Gordon.
Oh, God.
God, it's a bow. My God.
Some beautiful runs in this game. He combined for 155 yards. If my Bay Bo's floor is 10 to 15 points against Denver, I will take that.
About Baybo.
Baybo.
Do you call him Baybo Baggins?
I hope so. All right, well, are you done gushing about Gordon? Do you have anything else?
Yeah, okay, I'm done with him. One other defense I wanted to mention who also really crushed it is the Panthers D. They had 8 sacks and multiple turnovers. They held David Johnson to just 24 yards on 10 carries. He also got 7 of 9 passes for 84 yards, so he didn't have a totally bad day. But you know who had a better day than him against a better defense? Melvin Gordon.
Baybo Baggins. Of the Shire.
From now on. Okay, you guys, so it is Tuesday, and it's another heavy bye week with 6 teams chilling on their couches and hanging with their fams this week instead of playing for your team. So we've got the Cards, the Bears, the Bengals, the Texans, the Pats, the Redskins, all on bye. What should we do? I don't know. Is Allie frozen in that laugh face?
Oh, no.
I gotta show it. Oh, wait, now she disappeared. Okay, anyways, Allie's frozen in a laugh face, which I find hilarious, except please come back. We want you to talk about wide receivers. Anyways, all getting started with quarterbacks. Okay. He's 15.7% owned in ESPN leagues, and mainly for a good reason, Ryan Tannehill. But although Miami has obviously become a run-first offense with the emergence of Ajayi over the last few games, Allie, welcome back. You're a trickster. You're a trickster. You don't always stick around. We don't know when you're in, when you're out, but we like you. I'm talking about QBs. So anyways, Tannehill, yes. It's a tough matchup. The run game has a tough matchup against the Jets. So if you're desperate at QB, he is worth an add and a start because he should be passing a bit more this week. All right. Do you want Bradford at this point? Were the last 2 weeks a terrible bad dream for the hot start Vikes? I mean, well, the team should, and I repeat, should hopefully bounce. Not for Packer fans or NFC North fans, but for people that need a quarterback. For this week, the whole team, the Vikings, should bounce back against the Lions this week, and Bradford could be worth a stream if you believe that this was all just a bad dream. What about running backs on the way?
I just want to say one thing. Yes, everybody bounces back against the Lions. I think that so they may win next week, but I just think the Vikings are just not as good as we thought.
I agree.
We'll see. Or is it the bye week curse? It's like they come back, like hot start. What's 5-0 start, and then 2 losses right after the bye? Is that the record? I think.
What happened to the Packers last year?
It happens.
That's
it's a thing.
true.
It's a thing. Okay.
Okay,
Running backs.
so back to running backs. Things just got really sticky in New Orleans. Head coach Peyton benched Mark Ingram early in the game for fumbling again. I mean, This is scary for Ingram owners. Hightower actually was not great in his stead, but he got the job done with 109 yards on 26 carries. So, I mean, that's not a great YPC, but nevertheless, the coaches seem to like him, and there is definitely talk of a committee brewing. So Hightower is worth an ad, and it's just really bad for Ingram owners. You know, it's not a happy moment. He might actually be on the lesser end of the committee, so that's rough.
Well, if he can't keep his hands on the ball, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I already mentioned picking up West. This is, you know, his value sort of depends on whether or not Ware can come back from a concussion. I think we have seen a number of times this season that players cannot come back within a week from the concussion symptoms and clear the protocol. So, you know, as much as, you know, Ware was the hot ticket for Charles, now I think West becomes the hot ticket for Ware owners. And he's definitely worth an ad and potentially a play this week. Another guy who's actually on a bye, but he's definitely worth stashing is Rob Kelly. He had a pretty great day filling in for Matt Jones and another fumbler. And I think that the Redskins are getting sick of him and his fumbling ways. So he could actually, you know, Rob Kelly could end up passing up Jones on the depth chart sooner rather than later. I can't guarantee it, but I definitely think he's worth a speculative ad.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know if it's the Redskins themselves or Jones owners are more upset with him and his boom bust. Can't trust him. Can't keep his hands on the ball. Anyways,
and it should be noted that Charkandrick West's nickname is Charknado.
That is
courtesy of Neil Rothschild.
That is definitely worth noting.
Charknado. Got it.
I want him now. I'm probably going to put in a waiver just because of that. That's legit. All right, Allie, I got wide receivers for us for waiver.
Yes. My pick for the week is John Quincy Adams. No, it's Quincy Enunwa of the Jets.
I was like,
his name is Quincy, first ever. He had a season high 11 targets last week, with a very tasty matchup against the not so great Dolphins this week. I would say if you're kind of needing a big win and can maybe go for more of a boom bust player, Kenny Britt of the Rams was probably dropped by a lot of fantasy owners after week 8. But I think Kenny Britt is a good matchup versus the Panthers this week. And if you're a lover of, oh my gosh, the HBO show Hard Knocks, yes, then you'll love you some Kenny Britt. And if you're a believer, give a look at Jeff Janis, who's only owned in 2% of leagues, but he might
one of those people is me.
Yep, exactly. If injuries continue to sideline the other Packer players. So those are my receivers.
Okay, I like it. For tight ends, as we mentioned, Fedorovich. He's, again, the Texans are on bye, but if you have room, stash him because, like Dr. Z was saying, I mean, well, Hopkins and Fuller have been disappointing, like owners left and right. But, yeah, I mean, Fedorovich has definitely been seeing some targets and been putting up some decent numbers. A TD last week, 5 of 7 for 43 yards. So, okay, against the Lions, who everyone has a good game against the Lions. We're all saying. No, but so speaking of the Lions, Ebron, the Detroit tight end, has been battling ankle and knee issues up until his return last week against the Texans, but he put up his best game of the season, 7 of 10 for 79 yards. He has another tough matchup against Minnesota, but he showed up against Houston, so he probably can do it again. That's what I say.
I think so too.
I got some head nods from the girls. I'll take it. Let's move into chill out or freak out. This is, you know, everybody does it. That's what we do in fantasy. We like to tweet at fantasy analysts or experts because they didn't tell us this or somebody was a bust or whatever. It's what we do. So we're telling you who to chill out on, who to freak out on. Allie, what are you doing? And who are you doing it on?
And I, like Dr. Z, kind of believe that the Vikings receivers are not going to be good. I think the Vikings might be in the downward hill foundation, because that Minnesota offensive line is just no bueno. I think Matt Asiata should be a week-to-week decision as well. I think we're going to have to see a real decisive offensive upswing for Minnesota before trusting this bunch. It's interesting you mentioned Mark Ingram, because I would actually chill out on him, like not drop him, because he is.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying drop him.
Yes, no, exactly. But it's interesting that he's my chill out, because I think he gets a good matchup versus the 49ers, and like a lot of running, a lot of people fumble, but we'll see. I'm chilling out on him.
All right, Dr. Z, who are you chilling? Who are you freaking? What's going on?
Well, first of all, thanks, Allie. I needed that little bit of comfort. I do have Ingram in one league, and I actually cannot sit him, I don't think. So appreciate that. But I'm actually freaking out on Russell Wilson and all Seahawks receivers, like really anyone he's throwing the ball to.
Yes.
He hasn't been good all season, so that's not really news to anyone. But at this point, he has fewer fantasy points than Fitztragic on the season.
What?
Like, that is insane. I went to look at his stats, and I actually had to go to page 2, and I found him there underneath Fitzpatrick's name. So this is, I don't even know if he's worth rostering at this point.
It doesn't sound like it. Fitztragic is a really good one, by the way. Way to go, Dr.
I made up for the bow thing with that one. So
yeah.
Phew. Yeah. Okay, so he's basically dragging Doug Baldwin down with him. I do believe Doug Baldwin is the most talented receiver on that team, and I believe in him as a player, but Wilson hasn't been running the way he used to. He's not throwing the ball effectively. So I think at this point you almost have to bench Baldwin and then just wait and see it from him. If he gets hot towards the end of the year, I mean, the Seattle still has a winning record, and they're probably going to need to throw the ball, towards the end of the season. So I'm not saying to drop him, but he's going to end up on my bench at this point. I don't trust him.
He's a perpetual tease on my roster.
Right. The minute you sit him, he gets a touchdown.
He does well.
It's just the way of the fantasy world. Okay, so my chill out on T.Y. Hilton. Okay, so, and honestly, maybe buy low if someone else is freaking out on him, because he did have his statistically worst outing of the season last week. He missed one series with a hamstring injury. He returned, but then he still only got 1 of 6 for 20 yards. Ugh. So but he has received 26.8% of the Colts' targets this season. So that's even with Moncrief on the field. So I think he should bounce back. I say chill out on him. Oh, it's the best time of the week. It's day of the week. It is. Okay, my Bay, it's our little Badger wide receiver playing at QB. Aw, there was a lateral to McAvoy, because maybe the Seahawks have problems at QB and they need McAvoy to pinch throw. Anyways, lateral to McAvoy, who threw a 43-yard bomb, which set up the Seahawks touchdown. What a little Badger Bay. Okay, Allie, who's your Bay?
Girls, you know what I like to do with my Bays? I like to hug. I really like to hug. And no, I am not historically a fan of the Seahawks. Got to give it up for Earl Thomas, who gave a referee a hug and was flagged for it. Where is the fun in this league? I have your back, Earl. I love hugs, too.
Okay. Dr. Z, who's your Bay?
Sticky situation, 7-1 Cubs right now. Cleveland just got a run. Okay, back to my Bay.
Yeah.
My Bay of the week is actually Jordan Howard, who I was just way too hasty in dropping. And who knows if he'll answer my calls, let alone come back to me at this point.
He will.
I don't think you're getting back on your team.
Sorry, Bay. I'm so sorry. No, seriously. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen with him. And I had some really bad roster situations happening. Had to drop him, but he got 153 yards on 26 carries and a touchdown, 49 receiving yards on 4 targets. It's like the Bears coaching staff Fox just finally figured out, like, wow, he is the best player. So why are we messing around with Carey and all these other idiots? I mean, not
Finally.
necessarily idiots, but they just kind of snapped to
I'm
it,
glad you
you know.
amended yourself.
And I didn't expect that. I really
No,
didn't expect the way the
I
Bears
don't-
been playing. I didn't think they
I-
were going to come to their senses on him.
I don't think anybody did, but luckily, I have to gloat where I can. I mean,
Yes.
I did keep him.
Yes, you did.
But I benched it. But I think, what are you going to do? At least I got him for the future. Anyways, you guys, that's basically the end of our show. We only have time for the final whistle. Allie, what's your final whistle? Sending us off.
There were so many fun things this weekend, so many bays. Then there were things that were not my bays. Cam Newton's feather Piper hat, the Jaguars color rush uniforms, which look like something you find in a diaper. I would say those and the Bumblebees and Jail Steelers uniforms are currently tied for last on me. But it was a fun weekend.
Okay, it was Halloween for everybody. Okay, so Dr. Z, what's your final whistle?
All right, so the season is over half gone. Can you believe it? This is going by so fast, and soon we're just going to have to go back to our regular old lives with, work, home, like just I don't even want to think about it. But I just want to remind you, if you're winning, this is no time to get complacent. You got to keep managing your team every week. I want you to go and look ahead. Do you have a quarterback on a bye in week 10? Do you need to find a replacement? Well, guess what? There's probably nobody out there because the same thing happened to me. So, you got to plan ahead for the buys, especially when you're in these critical situations where it could be the difference between you getting a first round bye or going up against, a really tough team in the first round and potentially getting knocked out. So keep looking ahead, managing your team, and always keep improving your team with the waiver wire every single week.
What about for the teams that are losing? Because also, actually, I think I've got it. I think we should propose for the Lady League, who gets last in the league, gets first pick of the Lady League draft the next year. So that
people do that.
People do that. For you to change it the year that you're actually going to be in last place. Where is the precedence?
I swear, though, there's something against the commissioners in the Yahoo League because every time I randomize draft order, I get 7 or 8 or 9. And I'm not saying there are no bad draft picks. No, there actually are.
Yeah, there are.
Okay. Anyway, that's why I suggest also auction drafts. They're way fun if you guys haven't tried them. Anyways, it's not draft time. It's time for the final whistle, my final whistle. And
one last thing, RZ. You asked what I would say to losing teams. You actually want to play at this point to keep out of last place. So that's what you're playing for. You just want to not finish last.
You just don't want to be the embarrassment of the league. Okay.
And you can do it.
It's exactly my matchup against Allie is a perfect example. It's like I did everything right.
You did. It wasn't your
I did 2 things wrong.
Yes, and your team still crushed me. Well, not a crush, but yeah, it wasn't a blowout.
No.
It was a close game.
The heroic Jay Cutler showed up. Who would have known?
Ugh, not me. And because that's a good segue into my final whistle because we talked so much about Chicago with the Bears and the Cubs and all that. I just want to say, who said Green Bay doesn't have a running game? Huh? Rodgers rushed for a career high 60 yards on Sunday. So who needs Al Davis except we all hope that Ty Montgomery comes back, and I kind of wish it was the trade deadline today. We could have traded for somebody like Frank Gore, who needs an offense that works, and we need a running back that works. But it didn't happen because the trade deadline is usually pretty boring. Unlike this show, that's super fun. There are puns and fantasy advice and lucky scarves and Packer toys. Yeah.
And sometimes Chicago Bear uniforms.
Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Yeah, never again.
Never again. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on social media. It's at the FF Lady League. Like, follow, send us comments if you have any questions. We're here for you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.